Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, The Anxious Girl. That would be me. I'm the Anxious Girl, Brianne. Thank you for joining me again. Today I want to talk about finding new therapists, leaving therapists, the struggle that I've gone through in the last 8 months of being in a new state and trying to find a new therapist that works well with me. So, in the last 8 months, I have started seeing 2 different therapists, and I subsequently left both of those therapists, and that is okay. Now, let me give you some backstory. Back in January, things were very bad for me. I was doing very badly mentally, emotionally, physically. My anxiety was just through the roof. My depression was bad. My OCD was bad. I didn't know at the time that I had OCD. I just literally didn't know what to do. I was having anxiety attacks 2-3 times a day. I was in the fetal position on the ground, crying. I felt like more times of the day than I was up walking around doing things. I felt like I couldn't be a mom. I felt like I just couldn't live life. And so I was on the computer one day and I was just searching therapists in my area. I'm like, I haven't been in therapy in almost a year since we moved from Michigan to Maryland. I hadn't had any type of therapy, just psychiatric help. And there's all like these, like you can give them like your email, your name, like why you're looking for a therapist or whatever. And I'm just like writing to all these different people and sending them in. And you know, it was probably like 5-6 o'clock at night. I didn't expect to hear back from anybody, but this lady calls me like 20 minutes after I submit her like little online questionnaire thing. And she's like, you know, you said in your message that you're in crisis. And I'm just on the phone sobbing. I'm like, I just don't know what to do. And like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, can you come in tomorrow? And I was like, yes. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Like, I just needed to get in and see someone. So I went in, and right off the bat, she was just like very condescending of any previous therapy that I had had. She didn't think my diagnoses were correct. She thought she had her own set of diagnoses for me, her own set of like work that I needed to do. I had done some work with EMDR, which is rapid eye something therapy. It's a rapid eye movement therapy to help you process traumatic events. And I only had done it 3 to 4 times, I believe, but it was like super helpful for me. And she's like, no, like that's not a real form of therapy, like it doesn't work for people. And I'm like, I don't know who you are telling me that this didn't work for me, because it did, but you know, like whatever, I just need to like talk to someone. So like it wasn't really that helpful. I just felt like she thought she was like the best therapist out there, and anyone that I had seen before was just like not good enough. So I left. I went back and saw her again, and she's like, is things getting better? I'm like, no, they're getting worse. And she gave me some like coping skills, so that was good. She gave me like this journal and like some breathing exercises. Went home, wasn't getting better. My meds were not right. I think the medication I was on was okay. The dosage was like way too low. So I actually called my mom. I was like, can you pick me up at the airport at 11 o'clock tonight? Like, I'm coming back. I'm bringing myself to the hospital. And there's a mental health hospital in Grand Rapids that I had already been to, and I felt comfortable there, and I wanted to go back there, and I knew I needed to go back there. So this therapist calls me, and she's like, okay, are you going to be at your appointment tomorrow? And I was like, no, I'm actually in Michigan. I'm at the intake for this psychiatric hospital right now. And she's like, do you want to talk about it? And I was like, no. She's like, okay, well, whatever. I'll be here when you get back. So in the hospital for 7 days, diagnosed with a panic disorder in addition to everything else, as well as OCD. Get out, go back to Maryland. I go to see this woman the day after I get back to Maryland, and she wants to put me inpatient again for a month for people with severe OCD. But before this, she didn't even think I had OCD, but now I've been diagnosed with it. She wanted me to go inpatient for a month. Like, at that point, I had a 2-year-old daughter, I had a boyfriend, I had a life, like, a dog. Like, you can't just, like, take me away from life for like, an entire month. So I'm like, no. Like, I just got out of inpatient. She didn't like what they did with my meds. I'm like, they are working. I'm on Seroquel, and she's like, do you know that you can do this, 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 and this? I'm like, yes, I know there's side effects and possible, things down the line, but right now I'm surviving because of these medications, and I'd rather be surviving now and maybe have problems down the line than just straight not surviving. So there was that, and then we were talking about how at night anytime like it's a transition from day to night, like that dusk kind of time, I get very anxious. I always have. And the sound of crickets like drive me batty. Like, I can't deal with it. It gives me so much anxiety, like, all the time. And I was kind of just saying that in passing, and she's like, well, you know why that is? And I was like, no, I don't. She's like, well, you have undiagnosed childhood trauma, and you need to get hypnosis so that we can, like, bring up these memories. I was like, what? Like, who are you? Who are you? She's telling me my relationship is like trash. She's saying like my life for my daughter is unstable. I got out of that like session and it was hysterical on the way home. I'm like, way to send someone who was literally just inpatient the day before into a spiral. Like, who says those kind of things? It's not okay. I feel like she should have her license revoked. I probably should have done something about it, but I was just like I don't ever want to see this woman again. And it was just so frustrating because I'm like, this is not how therapy should make you feel. Like, therapy shouldn't, like, you don't get to plant seeds in people's mind of like childhood trauma that they don't know about. And like, when you don't know me, you don't know anything about my family, you don't know, you just see like, oh, I am anxious and at night, so I guess I was like abused as a 3-year-old. Like, that's just ludicrous to me. So I stopped seeing her. I was like, I'm done with that. I can't, like, that's not how you're supposed to feel after going to therapy. So there was probably a 5-month break that I didn't see anyone. And then this past July, I started seeing a lady again. And again, like, the first couple minutes, like, she's like, okay, like, you don't look like a borderline personality. Like, you don't look like you have borderline. You don't look like that kind of a person. And I was like, I didn't know that we had a look. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not coming in here, like, just crazy. Like, borderline people are not always just nuts all the time. Actually, they're always not nuts all the time. Like, we have our good moments. And she was just, like, trying to tell me that everything that I have is just anxiety induced by trauma. And that's all, that's the only problem that I have. She wasn't supportive of my relationship with my husband. She's like, just that we move around too much. I need to start thinking about myself. I'm like, I'm married with a child and you're just gonna throw all this stuff out at me. So I was frustrated, left, came back because in order to see my psychiatrist, they said that I needed to be treated by some type of a therapist. Second time I go back, I'm just irritated because she's like trying to like make all these assumptions about my family, about my parents. My brother was going through some stuff at the time, and so we were kind of talking about that, and she's like making assumptions on how involved I am in that, and just all this stuff that you don't know me. You don't know me. You can't just like say things and make the statements about my life that aren't true. So I left her, and I kind of just like dodged her appointments for a little bit, and then today I finally emailed her and I was like, I'm finding another therapist. Thank you for your time. I didn't feel like I needed to explain anything to her. She just wasn't the right fit for me. So I'm going to attempt a new therapist on this coming Thursday. I had a lady help me vet some people, and I think hopefully this woman will be a better match, because like I need a therapist. Like, I've had good therapy in the past, and that's why I'm able to see that these therapists were not good. So yes, in therapy you're gonna have therapists tell you stuff that you don't want to hear. That's what good therapists do. They tell you things about your life. They can help you discover things about yourself that you don't like, but not in the way that these people were doing it. They need to be compassionate. Oh, and this other therapist, the first one who told me that I had childhood trauma I didn't know, she was about to go have surgery. And she was going to be out of the office for the next 6 weeks, so I wouldn't even be able to talk to her. So she's like, here's all this like luggage and baggage that I'm going to give to you, and then off I go. Forgot to add that in there. Anyway, that's just not how you treat people. That's not how you counsel people. It's not okay. So if you're in therapy and you feel like you want to be in therapy but it's just not the right fit, don't be scared to like leave and try someone else. Even just someone else in the same like office, same, you can go somewhere completely different. It's not, you don't owe that therapist anything. If you truly want to be in therapy, find someone that's going to work for you, because if not, it's just not going to work. I've had a therapist in the past that we just didn't really mesh. There was nothing negative about her, but we just didn't really mesh. And so I went back to the therapist that I had before because she was amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. I wish that I could have picked her up and brought her to Maryland with me, because leaving her was like very difficult for me when we moved. Because when you find good help, they say good help is hard to find, and it really is. So I don't know what's wrong with Maryland's mental health system, but I've been struggling here. But anyway, that's just for anyone out there looking for therapy, feeling like they're in the wrong place. It's okay to leave. It's okay to go find someone else. You don't owe that person something. You're not going to hurt their feelings. This is their job. Like, people come and go. But don't give up, because I know that I need therapy, and if you feel like you need it, then you do need it, and that's awesome, because not a lot of people can recognize that they need the therapy. So just don't give up. Just keep going to different people. I know that first time is always, for me anyway, very triggering when I meet a new therapist, because it's like, let's talk about all the terrible things that have happened to me in my life and the reason that I'm now here. And then you're just crying and you're upset and you leave, and like, but a good therapist knows how to like navigate that and not just like throw you into the middle of like your mess. So yes, we're gonna go to a new therapist on Thursday, and I'm having high hopes for this one. Have high hopes always. So yes, that is my therapist journey for the past 8 months. Hopefully it will be getting better. All right, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, if you have any comments about your therapist, your therapy, anything like things that have worked well for you, how you go about finding a new therapist, crazy stories you have about your past therapist, comment below. Also, if you would like to subscribe to my channel, that would be lovely, because I have 8 subscribers. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. All right. Anyway, thank you for joining me. See you. Bye.